Why do we ghost hunt at night? It's creepy. Imagine this. It's a cold, moonless night. You and a small team of ghost hunters are venturing into an abandoned asylum, one with a dark history of cruelty, madness, and the unexplained disappearances. The crumbling walls and broken windows tell tales of a long-forgotten horrors. Armed with your flashlight and a few cameras and equipment, you step inside. The musty smell of decay thick in the air. For hours, nothing seems out of the ordinary, just an old building with creaky floors and drafts. But something nags at you, that unsettling feeling that you're being watched. Your flashlight flickers, the hallway stretches before you, dark and endless. The rest of your team is upstairs, leaving you alone for just a few minutes, or so you thought. You hear it, a soft shuffle, like footsteps on the floor behind you. You spin around, but there's no one there. A shadow flits by the edge of your vision, your breath catches in your throat. Every instinct tells you to leave, but you don't. Not yet. Instead, you call out to the darkness, but the only response is your own echo. Then, a faint knock. Once. Twice. You raise your flashlight and step forward, hands trembling. In the beam of light, you see the door at the end of the hallway is now ajar. It wasn't before. Your pulse races as you approach, trying to stay calm, trying to stay logical, but the logic slips away when the door creaks open further, as if inviting you in. You stop, unable to move, staring into the blackness beyond the door. And then, in that moment, the dark feels alive, as though something or someone is watching you from within the shadows, waiting. Why is it that in the dark, the unknown feels so much closer? What is it about the night that makes everything seem more dangerous, more real? There's a reason why ghost hunters often seek out the paranormal under the cover of darkness, and it's not just for the thrill. But let's explore why. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Stone Rock, and if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Today, we're talking about why ghost hunters hunt at night. This question has been asked of me in several videos. It's been asked of me in some lives as well. So I just kind of wanted to take some time and get into it, get into my kind of thoughts and opinions on it. And, let's see what happens. Let's get a little spoopy. And if you like what we do here, make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon. That way you're notified whenever we post a new video or go live. I've been doing a lot of lives here lately. I'm kind of getting into doing lives. They're fun. But let's get into the video now. So why do ghost hunts take place in the dead of night? One of the biggest reasons is the quiet. Think about it. During the day, the world is noisy. Cars, conversations, construction, animals, all the sounds can interfere with your investigation. But at night, it's like the world holds its breath. That stillness gives ghost hunters the perfect environment to pick up faint and otherwise unnoticeable phenomena like whispers, footsteps, or knocks. Then there's the issue of light control. Investigating during the day means dealing with sunlight, reflections, shadows that constantly shift, making it harder to tell what's natural and what's truly unexplained. At night, with controlled lighting from flashlights, lanterns, night visions, etc., it's easier to isolate any light anomalies like orbs or shadowy figures. Now, before we get into it, orbs are usually not taken as evidence. We all know that. Anybody familiar with the debunking community knows that orbs are usually just thrown out automatically. They're too easy to mix up between dust and insects. That's just how it is. Camera sensors aren't sophisticated enough usually to pick up the difference between dust and insects and spiritual activity. That's just how it is. No hate involved with it. It's just thrown out immediately because there's just too many things that it could be. It's beyond reasonable doubt. Well, let's talk about tools that ghost hunters rely on. Night vision cameras, thermal imaging, and EMF detectors are designed to work best in low light conditions. Night vision helps us see what human eyes can't, capturing images in the darkness. Thermal cameras pick up the heat signatures, showing us if something or someone has disturbed an area. Without the confusion of daylight, these tools perform at their peak, giving investigations the best chance of capturing evidence. Now, with that being said, infrared cameras or IR light is a different light in the spectrum. It's invisible to human eye. It's used for night vision most of the time, or all the time, really. It's not that if you don't plan on using night vision cameras, you don't have to go take them. If you don't have a full spectrum camera, you don't have to go take that either. Full spectrum, it has the visible light, it has IR, and it has UV, which are the three spectrums of light. We can't see UV light. UV light's what gives us sunburns. We can't see IR light. So, and thermal is kind of easy to debunk as well, because if it's been a hot day or the sun's been out all day and there's rocks around, the rocks can retain heat from the day and they can give off that heat source. Human beings themselves can actually reflect heat from our own bodies on the walls and stuff like that. So it's not like it's anything special, but there are ways to go about looking at these things if you're using these tools. Now, let's get into the psychology of darkness. Beyond the practical reasons, there's something deeper at play when we hunt in the dark, something psychological. Humans have an ancient fear of the dark. For thousands of years, darkness meant danger. When the sun went down, predators came out. We learned to stick close to fire where it's safe. Even though we have long since tamed our world with electricity and technology, that instinctive fear remains. It's the same thing with pareidolia, seeing things. That's an ancient fear that helped keep us out of danger. It helped keep us out of the dark, out of the forests, because we would see things and our brains would immediately tell us to get lost, get going. It's another thing where if you pass out from the sight of blood, that is an ancient thing to keep you alive. It used to be you would pass out from blood because it was your brain's way of keeping your body alive. If you were scared and active, your heart rate would jump up, you would get cut immediately, your blood would start pumping faster, harder, you would die easier. So that was your brain's way of telling you to stop panicking, and you would just go to sleep. You could stay alive. You would stay alive longer, maybe long enough for somebody to find you. That's just written into our brain, into our animal brains, much like pareidolia and being scared of the dark. It's also tied into your peripheral vision and activating the almonds. You would see things moving out of the corner of your eye, and your brain wouldn't necessarily register it quick enough, but you would get that feeling in the pit of your stomach like there was something there, something watching you. Even if it was off at a distance where your peripherals were more attuned to. So there's all sorts of things that go into the psychology of just being afraid of the dark and being afraid of things around you. It's a whole thing that's gone back for eons, ever since human beings became human beings. When we can't see what's around us, our mind fills in the gaps. Our senses become sharper. Every creak, every whisper becomes more noticeable. We're likely to notice things we might ignore during the day. But there's another element. Darkness amplifies the unknown. Fear isn't just about what we know. It's about what we don't know. In the dark, that shadow at the end of the hallway could be nothing, or it could be somebody watching you. Your brain is hardwired to expect danger when you can't see your surroundings, which is why investigating the darkness raises the stakes. There's even a psychological term for it called scotophobia, or fear of the darkness. While many of us might not feel paralyzed by this fear, it's still present deep down. It's this fear that makes ghost hunting in the dark such an exhilarating and often terrifying experience. Folklore of the night and paranormal activity. Folklore and ghost stories often emphasize the connection between the paranormal and the nighttime. This is no accident. For centuries, cultures around the world have linked ghosts, spirits, and supernatural creatures to the night. In many traditions, the witching hour between midnight and 3 a.m. is when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. This idea is that spirits are more active at night has fueled the ghost hunting practices for generations. There's also belief that spirits and entities prefer the darkness because it's when they can draw energy from their surroundings. Whether it's tapping into electrical devices or feeding off the energy of people present, nighttime is believed to offer a better environment for spirits to manifest. But beyond belief, the night simply feels more supernatural. Our stories, our fears, all come alive when the sun goes down. It's just the nighttime's just always been creepier. You know, as a kid, you're scared of the dark. That's ingrained to you. You know, it's just, you know, even when your parents are telling you not to be scared of the dark, you're still scared of the dark because you're a kid and it's dark. It's just in your blood, basically. It's like a blood memory. If such a thing existed, my Assassin's Creed friends know what I'm talking about with blood memories. By the way, thank you. Thank you, PayPal supporters. This is much needed today. I've been on a cleanse for a couple weeks now. Just drinking nothing. I usually only drink water and like an energy drink or two a day, but I've been doing just water for like 2 weeks now, and trying to reset my system to get myself ready for starting night shift. And I'm at a point where I'm just feeling like super low. I just need a little bit of caffeine. So thank you guys for, I mean, this isn't even caffeine, I don't think. I don't know, but thank you, anybody who's donated on PayPal, for helping me out with this. This is the Red Sour Patch Kids from Ghost. And we all know that I love Sour Patch Kids. They're my favorite candy ever, besides, well, Twix is a chocolate bar, but Sour Patch Kids, Twix, and then Reese's Cups. I could eat those non-stop. I won't because they're bad for you, but these are, people are going to be like, you know, energy drinks are bad for you, but honestly, I live in the city. Energy drinks are probably safer for me than the city water, so... And I am of the mindset that I already pay for water because it's in with my sewer and my trash bill. So why am I going to buy water on top of that? That's kind of how my brain works. But anyways, the allure of fear in the dark. Here's the truth. Ghost hunting in the dark is not just about capturing devices. It's about the thrill being in an old abandoned building at night with nothing but a flashlight and your wits is a test of courage. The fear of the dark heightens your senses, making every small noise or movement seem bigger and more significant. The feeling of vulnerability of not knowing what's around the next corner, what drives people to seek out these experiences. The night amplifies our emotions, pulling us into a heightened state of awareness. In a way, ghost hunting in the dark is about confronting our most primal fears. When the lights go out and the world falls silent, you can't help but wonder what's really out there. You could also probably say adrenaline junkie would be drawn to it because it does heighten your senses when you're in the dark. Just dark in general heightens it. Being in a new place heightens it. That's kind of why after you move, you have a hard time falling asleep in the new place. Even though you know in your waking mind that you're safe, your primal mind is still wired because you're in an unfamiliar environment. Your brain only goes to, it's what they call like half sleep. Half your brain only goes to sleep, but your senses are still awake. Your hearing is still super acute. Your eyes, although it's nighttime, are going to be a little bit more acute. Your smell is going to be more acute because you're wired from being in a different environment. So that's primal as well. That goes way back to, you know, us sleeping in caves and all that. So it's a thing. I've experienced a lot of that in my life. I've moved a lot, unfortunately. It seems to be the story of my life is moving and dating women that are bad for me, or, you know, just women that don't want me. Why I end up in a relationship with them is beyond me, but it's what you get for loving someone, I guess. So why do we ghost hunt in the dark? It's a combination of practicality, tradition, and psychology. Darkness strips away the distractions of the day and plunges us into a world where the unknown reigns supreme. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing's for sure. In the dark, things feel different, more mysterious and terrifying. Maybe, just maybe, that's when the spirits come out to play. So, would you hunt for ghosts in the dark? I have, really. I mean, that's been the only time I've ever hunted for ghosts. Here's the thing. My general thought, if you're not going to use IR cameras, you know, if you're not going to use thermal cameras, If you're not even really going to use EMF for the reason that the EMF detector is around, then why not go investigate during the day? Even if you are going to use the EMF detector to try and find spots of EMF, why not go during the day? The location is still going to be haunted if it is actually haunted. So why not go during the day? There's nothing holding you back from going during the day except for maybe a job. You don't only have to ghost hunt in the dark is kind of the thing here. But ghost hunting in the dark is kind of a rite of passage. It is creepy. I'll give it that. I was creeped out the first time I did an investigation at the Cincinnati Opera House. It's a thing, go do it. I suggest everyone, skeptic or not, go do, at least a basic ghost hunt. You've got a phone, the phone's got a light on it. You've got a camera on it. You don't need much. Maybe take a handheld flashlight with you. That way you can have a flashlight in one hand, camera in the other. Or, just use your phone flashlight. Although my handheld flashlight's going to be a lot more powerful than the one on my phone. The phone is going to spread wider, though, I think. So I might use a combination of the two if I go back out there with, minimal gear. Really, you don't need anything. You don't need an EMF detector. You don't need, millimeters. You don't need tri-field meters. You don't need, the Ovulus. You certainly don't need the Spirit apps, right? If you really want EMF, you can download an EMF on your phone. Just know that your phone is going to give off a sizable amount of EMF because it's a battery-powered device. Any device that has a battery in it is going to give off EMF. That's just the reality of the situation here, which is why, I often say putting multiple devices together near an EMF detector is going to make the EMF detector go off. Kenny Bettle has shown this many times. I've on my channel shown that, you can affect EMF with a radio, and you even see my microphone here affecting it because this is a powered microphone, right? The monitor affects it. The GoPro camera that I'm filming this on certainly affects EMF. So you gotta be careful when you're out doing stuff like this. You obviously want to limit the amount of gadgets you have on your person, because you as an individual, you as a human being, we run on bioelectricity. Our brain sends electrical signals down through our nerves into our muscles, and that's what tells our body parts to move, right? That's just how the human being runs. We run on electricity. Even the passive systems like, our heart, breathing, which you're now doing manually because I mentioned it. It's weird how breathing works too. When you think about breathing, you switch to manual breathing. You have to make sure that you're still doing it by yourself. It's the human brain is fascinating. All the things that we're still wired to do and like not wired to do. It's crazy because we only use like 10 to 20% of our brain. The rest of it is just like all passive stuff that we don't understand. Stuff that our brain does to keep our bodies alive. Basically, you're just a brain puppeting a meat suit. That's all you are, is just a brain. Everything the brain does is to keep itself alive. It could give a crap less about the rest of your body as long as your brain itself is intact. That's all it cares about. You could lose an arm and your brain's going to be just fine. You could lose a leg, your brain's going to be just fine. Your brain just cares about itself. And now that I'm telling you that, I am well aware that my brain is telling me that it doesn't care about the rest of me. So take that information for what you will. I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. This is our usual kind of stuff. We do breakdowns and like lore and stuff like that. The debunks are maybe 10% of what we usually do. So while my community is mostly from the debunking crowd, I do tend to shy away from that because there are so many other debunkers that can explain things. Not necessarily better, but they have an easier time explaining things for me. Like sometimes I just have problems putting the proper words together to explain things. So anyways, see you guys next time. I've been Stone Rock, you have been the Rock Stars, and have a good day. History's law, I'm bringing it
to what lies ahead. Where folklore's alive, not just for the dead. I take you deeper than you've ever gone, from dusk